Everyone, I thought I would never say it, but welcome to Blade 2 Bannerlord. Well, it is the beta and only the multiplayer, but hey, it's better than nothing, of course.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Yesterday I finally got the access key to this and I've looked around a little bit. As far as I can see right now, there's only Captain and Skirmish mode. There might be other game modes in the custom server lists, but I haven't tried that out yet. But I don't really see that happening soon. So first up, I wanted to look at all the classes of the factions that are in the multiplayer game right now, starting with the Empire. Mameluke Infantry. Mameluke Infantry are trained and entrusted with a Mameluke, a deadly polearm with a sharp, long, double-edged blade for a head and a thick, sturdy shaft that is useful for both stabbing and chopping. Usually they stand right behind Legionaries and support them and step forward when cavalry comes near or enemy formations breaks. So I think this is a bit of the standard lower tier. Looks pretty good actually, damn. Soldiers of the Empire. Let's see, you can also choose a couple of things to change, like Heavy Melonian. That's the spear they had, of course, and the Plumbata. What's a Plumbata? You can read that here. Small throwing darts, ineffective in melee. And there's improved, I think that's the customization you can do on every character, because literally every character in every tree has that. Next up, Legionaries. These professional soldiers are paid by the state and they are excellent close quarter fighters. Imperial commanders used to call them Skutatoi because of the great shields they wield, but the name didn't stick to the proud soldiers who would like to be called Legionaries instead, in honor of the legions of old. And their main thing is called a long spada. They also have a reinforced oaken kite shield, that's something we've seen before, and a western spear. You can use it one-handed and two-handed? That's interesting. Ah, okay. Well, then we come to the ranged recruits. Empire armies are mostly comprised of citizens that are willing to fight to defend their homes and their states to the death. These raw recruits are usually volunteers. Imperial commanders don't expect much from them. Keep out of melee, flank the enemy and pelt them with javelins. So these are a bit the standard javelineers. I've always liked javelins in these games. They work pretty okay. They can get a shield and extra javelins and a spear. Interesting. Next, Archer Militia. The citizen militia are usually depicted as weak and reluctant to fight. This can't be far from the truth. The Empire is surrounded by enemies and citizens willingly join the militia to learn to defend their homes. As a result, these soldiers are very disciplined and highly trained in the art of the bow. They could serve as archers or abelisks, depending on their commander's needs, and this versatility makes them special. Well, they got improved armor, light crossbow. Oh, like it changes the whole class of the archer militia. That's interesting. That they okay, and a smaller axe. Then you go back to the bow, but you get an axe. That's interesting. And normally they only have a gladius and a hunting bow. The Palatine Guards. Chosen from the best of the best, these honorable palace guards are held in high esteem and they set an example for others to follow. Both in terms of fighting prowess and the wits... Both in the terms of fighting prowess and with their sense of duty. They are both deadly with bows and arrows and close quarter melee. Ah, interesting. A long bow, stronger but slower bow, a mace and a spear they can get. And if you pick any of the other things, they get a recurve bow and a spada. Okay. So these are the high class Empire archers. Then we got two cavalry units, the Courser. Oh, looks pretty cool actually. Literally called the Raiders. These cavalry excelled hit and run tactics. Being excellent riders, they usually serve as army scouts. Okay. On the battlefield. On the battlefield, they are positioned on the flanks and are expected to screen friendlies or outflank enemies. Other times they are ordered to hunt down routers and chase the enemy light cavalry, who are too fast for the cataphracts. Now, let's They already look pretty strong. I have to say, all these soldiers look pretty good. I really did well on just making them. Although maybe the recruits... I don't know, it looks like something that's padded. I would give low, well, civilian soldiers always just a shirt or something. It might be just a shirt, but it looks like something like it does give some armor. Let's say that. Lastly, the cataphracts. Gone is the dominance of the Legionary. These days, when one thinks of imperial military power, they are thinking of the famed cataphracts. Armed and armored to the teeth. These professional riders have nothing else to do but train with lances, composite recurve bows, swords and axes. Wow. Oh, the horse in the back looks really cool too. I'm just getting him sideways. I see some clipping here. Let's immediately noticed. They get a battle axe, a short bow, and a heavy compass. That's a spear, a long pyramid, and an imperial war horse. They get the same horse for everyone? Seems like it. Looks cool. So those were the Empire. So let's continue on to Vlandia. Vlandia, starting with the peasant levy, and the first thing I notice is, again, it looks like this peasant is wearing something under his overshirt, like it's some sort of armor. I think it's still too thick. It looks like this guy's really wearing armor, while he is supposed to only, well, wear a couple of shirts, of course. But hey, that's just me. Peasant levy. These poor serfs are recruited fresh from the farm, usually at sword point by the Vlandian lords, and pushed into the front line without any proper equipment or training. But still, a crafty peasant will find a way to survive, by looting enemies and comrades, and by staying with their better trained and equipped allies. These guys can get pitchforks, bill hooks. Oh, that's actually, that sounds like a pretty good weapon to have as a peasant. And a shield. Well, that's also a pretty good weapon actually to have, but then you only get a sickle. That's a bit... You always get the sickle. It seems like the pitchfork is one of the lesser things, but it's strong versus cavalry, I think. Because a billhook... I don't know, is that strong against cavalry? I don't think so. And on to Vulgier. Jesus, these guys are decked out. Damn. Among the serfs, biggest, meanest and quickest are the selected and trained to become the feared Vulgiers. These polearm wielding soldiers are serve Vlandian armies as shock troopers and lay waste to enemy infantry. These guys look badass. They got a greatsword, which also changes their armor. Oh, of course, improved armor. Wow, and an all pike? What's an all pike? Very effective against cavalry and melee support. Looks like... Oh, a pike, of course. Of course, it looks kinda like a long spear. Oh, well. Then we got sergeants. Damn. Looks good. Vlandian sergeants are famous through the Calradia for their tenacity and ferocity. Killing is their profession, and they are simply good at what they do. They are the anvil part of the hammer and anvil tactics of the Vlandian knights. Ah, pretty cool. We can get a Francesca. Is that an axe? Oh yeah, it's a throwing axe. Damn, son. And a bastard sword. That's a really big sword. They look cool, I have to say. And a spear, which might make it easier versus cavalry and that sort of stuff. Then we go on to the ranged units. Arbalists. Vlandian warlords discovered that while levying peasants is a necessary evil, they can get the most out of it by giving them crossbows and teaching them how to point and shoot properly with it. Using this machine, while in essence is a handheld version of the feared Calradic ballistae, Vlandian arbalists can punch a hole through even the heaviest of the armor of the day. For a low tier unit, they look cool. They get a western short sword and a light crossbow. Improved armor, heavier crossbow, which just is a normal crossbow, and a mace instead of the normal sword you get with improved armor. These remind me a little bit of the Vaegirs. The Vegas also had pretty good secondary weapons. Then we come to the Sharpshooters, and these look like mercenaries. They look cool. They look really cool. Sharpshooter. So picturesque pastoral heaven that is southern Vlendia has a tradition of training the best arbalists in all of Cavalleria. They are highly sought after as mercenaries or retainers for other arbalists throughout all of Vlendia. These folks know their business very well and they are ready for everything. Be it an incoming knight on the charge or a longbowman shooting from behind battlements. Okay, and my first thought was this is a mercenary, and I was right. I like how they gave it a real mercenary like look. They also get a bastard sword or an arbalest. Might be pretty freaking strong. Then lastly, the cavalry. Vanguard. Alright. Looks a bit light, I suppose. Vanguards are usually sons and daughters of wealthy bourgeois, minor nobility, or anyone who can afford a horse. They make up the mainstream light cavalry of the Flandrians. They serve as vanguards, scouts, outflankers, or they are used when knights don't want to bother chasing down routed troops or other faster moving light or ranged cavalry. Okay, wow, they get a lot of weapons actually. They can get a war horse, a charger, and otherwise they get a hunter. They can get a lance, and they can get improved armor. There are a lot of them actually. 28. Lastly, one of the stronger classes of Vlendia, the Knight. Vlendian knights who train for war for almost every day of their lives truly are a force to be reckoned with. When they appear on the battlefield, they strike fear into their enemies. When they start their charge, even the ground trembles under their heavily thundering hoofs. They can get improved armor, heavy lancers, and cavalry mace. They look okay, I suppose. I don't know, I like the cataphracts better. They look buffer, I think. Yeah, they look a lot buffier. Jesus. They also get some nice stuff. A charger, heavy lance, cavalry, mace. It's not too long. Interesting. Well, that was the Vlendian army. Let's continue on to Battania. On to Battania. First up, the clan warrior, which already looks... He looks sturdy, but he does look like a somewhat well-off peasant than what you would say with anything like a serf or something, like the peasant levy. This looks pretty on point, I have to say. I like it. You can see they live in the cold and that sort of stuff. And everything is somewhat more thin. Clan warrior, also known as the Kern. The main fighting force of the Battanian clans are backed up by a general levy of men fit to bear arms. A screaming rush of these troops, wielding long knives, clubs and spears, can be a terrifying sight. The optional weapons, short spear, shield, which only leaves you with a Highlander short sword and a mace. Well, a Highlander mace might actually be pretty strong, I suppose. Short spear. Oh well. The Savage. Oh damn. Basic, but looks good enough. The Battanian heroes of old were known for their ferocity and their disdain of their own safety. And those warriors who hew most... What? And those warriors who hew most closely to these... Who held, I suppose? Most closely to this ideal, take up a massive falx, a devastating curved blade that is usually used two-handed. They fight in the center of the line, trying to chop their way to the enemy standards. Cool. They can get a shield, a rumfire? Oh, there's also a very, very big, how do you call that? Falx. Wow, that looks cool. And improved armor. Oh, now they look really cool. Just a badge alone looks pretty cool. Then we come to the Oathbound, and these guys are decked out. Wow. Oathbound. The best warriors among battalions pledge themselves to accompany the tribal leader into the battle whenever he leads. They make up the center of the line and stiffen the spine of the Khan. He looks freaking beastly. I love it. I'm getting lots of different vibes from just his shield and his helmet. That's pretty cool. Javelins, long spear, and a bastard sword. I think javelins are pretty good. I suppose Highlands longsword is still your optional. Ranged units. First up, the Wildling, another Javelinier class it seems. Also with a big shield and an axe actually. The Battanian clans have a lively tradition of their least sociable members going off to the woods to live like animals. Many of those still return to fight alongside their people when they go to war. But not having trained with the Kern, they often take up the javelin and fight as skirmishers. Improved armor? Oh damn. That looks really good actually. And a broadsword. Ah, interesting. Ranger. The best hunters of the Battanians join the tribal levy as archers. They usually skirmish ahead of the main force, running away from more heavily armored enemy troops. Looks okay, bit basic. Hunting longbow. Two-handed woodcutter's axe, which changes your longbow into a short bow. And improved armor. Oh, this looks a lot better actually. I like it. The Fian. Holy shit, these also look really beastly like the Oathbound. And I don't know, I'm really getting a mix of the... what was it? Was it the Sultanate or the Gargits? And a mix of the Nords. It looks really good. Landless younger sons of Battanian nobles frequently join fighting companies, known as Fianna, seeking out adventure wherever they can find it. Many live in the woods and hunt with the famed Battanian longbow, but they can also don armor and fight in tight ranks if necessary. Oh, they are... Oh, for a second I thought these were normal infantry, but of course it's not. Dual longbow with a Highland two-handed sword and a warlord two-hander. Oof. Looks a bit small with the clipping, but if I move it around here you can see it's a decent sized sword. This looks like really heavy heavy units. And lastly, the cavalry for the Battania forces. Doesn't look like much. Doesn't look like much, I have to say. The shield is beautiful though. Nice. Okay. Mounted warrior. While most Battanian nobles will fight with their oathsworn in the midst of the battle line on foot, for few, including younger and lighter aristocrats, will fight from horseback. They are light rather than heavy cavalry, best used as outriders and flankers. Okay, so this whole nation is built around really strong people on the ground. And decent sized ranged. Okay, they can get javelins, that's really good. Improved armor. I don't like it. And a heavy horse. A fell pony. Well, interesting. I have to say, the Oathbound and the Fian are freaking beast. Holy shit, I love their class of Battania. So, let's continue on to Sturgia. Sturgia. First up, a warrior. This, it looks like a normal peasant. I like it. He has an axe. And a spear for now. Every village and town in the Sturgian land supplies a force of Voi, or militia, to the boyars and princes. They support the Drusina in battle, and if they distinguish themselves can hope for promotion into its ranks. I have to say, for a normal, well, it is still militia, a serf unit, it looks good. It looks like it's just a well-off person getting sent off to war. Big shield and a maul. What's a maul? Oh, a hammer! Oh, wow. That must hurt. Ulfhednar. Holy shit. It's an actual beast. The Wolfcoats are elite Nordlander mercenaries that wield great two-handed axes and other fearsome weapons. with simple skins to cover them. These agile warriors are famous for fighting in reckless abandon, to serve as shock troops to break the enemy line. Northern 200X and a Northern throwing axe. You also can get improved armor, which make them really big. I like it. Is this still light or medium infantry, seeing as they... They say they are agile, so... 80... 75, okay. I think this might be medium, but very big hitters. Throwing axes, improved armor looks amazing. And lastly, 200 long axe. And that will be your only weapon if you choose it. It looks freaking amazing. Imagine getting hit with this in your face. Ha! Huskarl and wow, they're decked out. Huskarls are handpicked from the best mercenaries and adventurers from the north, and are household troops at Sturgeon Princess. They serve as bodyguards and are considered to be one of the best heavy infantry in the whole of Cavalaria. Okay, interesting. Seems they also get an axe. They get a pretty big shield. And they got a Northern long spear. This is actually the improved armor. You also can... Oh, looks fairly good too. The helmet gets somewhat changed, it seems. Yeah, I like this helmet more even. Wow. Throwing axes you can get with the same setup we just had. And a Northern sword. What's the difference between a normal sword? Oh, you don't get a normal sword at all even. Okay. They look really cool. Onto ranged. Starting with the Brigands. Yeah, I can see these people waylaying, thieving and robbing people. Yeah. The Sturgeon frontiers have often attracted fugitives and escaped slaves who prefer to live free beyond the reach of any Bojar's authority. These desperate men and women who traditionally fight with javelins and axe will still frequently enlist in the Bojar's army for a few silver coins and the promise of loot. This is spot on. This is spot on with the appearance and the clothes and everything. I like it. Additional fish harpoons. Huh. Cool. And improved armor. Like this looks like a mercenary who... a brigand who has gotten through a couple of battles and is now just a mercenary. That's nice. That's a nice touch. Hunters. Okay. Looks good. Looks like a real peasant to me. For if it's supposed to be a normal hunter, that's really good. Holy, I like the appearance of this one. Every Sturgeon community has hunters and trappers who bring back the luxurious furs of the north to be traded for goods from warmer lands. In wartime, they will often enlist as archers, trackers, and scouts. You also can get a sword instead of your axe. And lastly, you can get improved armor, and this looks like someone who has gone off into a couple of fights and come back. I like that, I like that. Ha, amazing, but it doesn't really feel like they're too strong. The Huskarls are the strongest, story-wise at least. But I don't know, a lot of javelins. I like javelins. I really like javelins for some reason. Then we get Raider, and they look... yeah, they look like raiders. A handful of the wealthier inhabitants on the Sturgeon frontiers own their own horses, and many have learned the riding skills of the nearby horse tribes. They are much valued by the boyars as scouts and screeners for the main force. Looks good enough. There's also a pelt over the horse over there, I think. They can get javelins, a shield, or a heavy horse. Tile horse, and otherwise you'll get the trotter. And now, oh hello. That looks really good. Man, that looks good. Sturgeon boyars are always on the lookout for skilled warriors to bring into their Drasnina or personal retinue. Kept loyal with gifts of gold, equipped with the best weapons and horses, they form the shock force of any northern army. And they look freaking amazing! Oh, They can get barding, that's the protection you see in the back over there with the horse. You can get a lance, longer, more powerful and couched. Or a hunting bow. And your normal things are a spear, a cavalry axe. Or a spear. And again a cavalry axe. And the cavalry axe actually looks somewhat bigger. I like that. With one of the earlier classes it looked like that unit had a mace. Was that this one? Yeah, it didn't look too long. This doesn't look too long. And with this one it looks really long. Like it can easily just stick your arm out and you can just ride against someone. So, those were the Sturgeons. So let's go over to the Khajiits. And here we are with the Khajiits. First up, Rebel. Yes, I like it. An Ilt. It looks like a fairly basic sword. And yeah, this is the first, well, not the first time. This is also a unit that looks just like, well, something you should see in your hometown if you were living in Calradia at this time. Many towns and villages were not formally part of the Khajiits tribal confederation are required to provide troops for the Khan's army. Called rebel by others, these generally poorly armed and trained people can hope to hold their own until the Khanat's elite cavalry comes to their relief. So they're just throwaway troops. Let's see, they can get a yield, better and more consistent in melee scenarios. Oh, that's the sword. They can get a sword spear with an Eastern Infantry club. Huh. That might be better to use. And a shield. A shield is always good. The shield is always good. It's a curved round shield. Ah, pretty basic. Spear infantry. And these guys look... wow, what does he have on his back? Are those throwing spears? I suppose so. Spear infantry. The fiercest non-Khajiit tribes who are subject to the Khan are usually hill peoples. Their fierce spear charges, often presaged by a hail of javelins, can sweep away a foe that was being disrupted by supporting horse archers. Then you get a heavy mace, improved armor that makes them look like fucking beasts, and more throwing spears. Pretty interesting. Eastern throwing spear, wicker square. Oh, that's a really big shield, and an Ild. So their power might not be that bigger than a spear infantry, but they're better support troops, I suppose. Onto ranged step bow. Some Khajiit tribesmen are too poor to afford a horse and fight from afoot with bows. Normally they rely on the fleetness of their foot to keep them out of melee, but still keep an axe or saber to fight back if cornered. That looks really good. They can also get an elite, a short bow instead of a hunting bow, and improved armor. Their improved armor looks meh. It looks like just a plate in front of him. A really weird plate. Why is it bending with him? Is that even a plate? No, it's bending every way with him. I don't think that's a plate. That looks really weird. This looks okay-ish, I suppose. Well, onto the Khan's guard. And these guys. Woohoo! Woo! Me likey. A few of the strongest and most loyal youth in each tribe are recruited to join the Kha'Zix, the private guard forces of the Khan and his Noyans. These fearless fighters are trained extensively to become deadly in both archery and melee. They can get a glaive. Doesn't he have a glaive? Oh, here's the glaive. Ah, it's depicted as a spear. That's weird. Okay, they can get a shield with an Ild. Might be okay-ish. I think this might be stronger, depending on what's on the Ild, and a composite bow. Does that mean he can shoot faster? Fire rate 85. With the normal, it's 86. So only the damage goes up, and the accuracy goes up slightly. Okay. I would go with glaive, I think. Cavalry, Nomads. Ah, Looks just fine. Though most of the Cossacks have settled in towns and villages since the conquest, a few still live out on the steppe, subject to no authority. They will still fight for the Khan, for pay, and are more among the Confederacy's hardiest riders. Sorry everyone. Though their equipment tends to be cheaper and their armor lighter than the main tribal force. This is already their improved armor, so... Oh yeah, I like this better. With a hunting bow they actually get, and normally they get... nothing. Yeah, then I would go for the hunting bow. Like having light cavalry who can do both, attack and shoot, that's pretty good actually. And lastly, a small shield, but they... Oh, they don't have a shield anyway. Okay, okay. Looks just fine. I don't... I have to say, I like this better than this. For some reason. Next up, Lancer and... That looks amazing. Not all Cossacks employ evasive hit and run tactics. Some of the best riders, heavily armored and equipped with lance and mace, specialize in dealing the killing blow to an enemy force after supporting horse archers have worn it down. Holy shit. That's his improved armor once again. This is his normal armor and that looks really good too. What actually changes? Almost... Okay, some of the ringed armor that you see over here, here and here is gone and the face mask is gone. Oh, and it's not skill armor. It's a different set of armor. Okay, interesting. Looks good enough. And they also can get a short bow. But I think for these sort of units that might... well, they could be their own horse archers to whittle down the enemy. But what do you lose? A shield. I don't know about that. Horse archer, mounted archer, and that looks good. I like the flower padding over here, here, and here. The mounted archers are the main striking force of the Cossack horde. Every tribe in the Confederacy is expected to muster its best men when the Khan marches to war. They fight with speed, patience, and cunning, stinging the enemy force with their arrows until it is sufficient, sorry everyone, softened up to move in for the kill. He looks amazing. A faster, more agile horse it seems. They also get a shield. And they also can get additional arrows. I think additional arrows would be pretty good if the cost is low enough. So that was the Cossack army. Let's go on to the last one actually. The Asura. Welcome to the last faction in this game. The Asurites. Beginning with the tribal warrior. Looks okay. Life is harsh in the Nahasa, so a child of the tribe is expected to learn how to fight well. These tribal warriors are cheap, but effective troops that can perform different roles with proper equipment selection and hold their own against many of the better armed enemy soldiers. So these are not really peasant troops, but they're neither trained soldiers either. They're just strong people. They look good for it. What am I saying? Of course they're somewhat soldiers. Let's say they survive the war. They can get... I'm just gonna move on. They can get a shield, a spear, and lastly a mace with a normal shield. Looks pretty strong. A spear for anti-cav, a normal sword, and an extra strong shield if you feel that you need it. Then we get the guards. Azurite guards are selected from the tallest and strongest members of the tribe. Their impressive physics are useful both for wielding their huge two-handed axes and to lay fear into the hearts of their enemies. Guards are fragile shock troopers that are very good against shield-wielding infantry, but weak against enemy archers. They first get a bardiche, that's pretty kick-ass. I like their small, colorful, how do you say that, waistband. A bardiche, improved armor. I like the original armor better myself. And Jerids, which are throwing spears? Looks like it. Pretty strong. Nice. Ranged. First up, the skirmisher. In the Asura tribe, throwing javelins is a sport that every child enjoys. Best of these children grow to become the agile skirmishers. Aside from their large shields, they are very lightly armored, so they can move around quickly on the battlefield to flank their enemies and deal tremendous damage from their backs. Huh. Looks cool enough. They also get a spear, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's this thing. They can get more javelins. Might be powerful, but then you're only left with a sword. So maybe the spear having near you is better. Then you can switch and try to attack the enemy cavalry or something, or at least withstand it. And lastly, a mace. Mace would be better if you know that you're just gonna attack enemy infantry though. Interesting, I like them. Then we come to the normal archers and ho, they look cool. Basically, they look basic and that's cool. With their considerably lighter armor, the Asura claim to rely on their ranged troops a lot. And these skilled archers are the backbone of their armies. They are so good at what they do that it is the Asura archers who set the standard for other cultures' archers to follow. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is actually the improved armor. What's the normal armor? Ah, still basic. Still pretty cool. You get a short bow here or a mace. Just for this, it looks so cool. You get an extra sword and a hunting bow. The veteran. Meh. Asura veterans, as the name suggests, veterans of many battles. They have picked up many skills and also acquired good mill armor. Oh yeah. And a variety of equipment in all those years to become both deadly archers and also dangerous melee combatants that they are now. So these guys might actually be good in a normal fight too. They can get a spear, pretty handy, a shield, okay, and a longbow. I think I would take the spear. Cavalry is always one of the more pressing, more dangerous units for archers after all. And to use these as real infantry would be weird. Oh well. Cavalry, Badoon. Looks cool. I like it. Some tribes live even deeper in the desert where there's no hope for survival without their loyal mounts, because of the vast distances. These people of the tribes are natural riders who are literally born on the saddle. Badoon are the fastest riders in Coloradia and they are very good at hit and run tactics. I like them. They can get additional Jurits, that's throwing spears I suppose. They can get a shield, pretty handy. They still get their swords and everything, so might be a good pick. Or they can go for a camel! Oh my, that's amazing. A Hunchpri, wow, okay. Then now the last cavalry we have to look at, and the strongest of the tribes. Huh. I can't say I'm amazed. It looks okay, I suppose. The very term Mameluke means property. The Asura nobility want professional soldiers who have no familial ties and nothing else to do but hone their fighting skills. Be it riding, lance, bow or the sword. Mameluke is the ultimate ironclad soldiers of the Asura. Depending on the need, they will be steamrollers, horse archers or flankers easily. That sounds really strong. Bound Adagari. Doesn't look like much though. They can get barding for somewhat protection it is. A hunting bow. You lose your spear for that. So I don't know if a hunting bow would be nice. Or a lance. Which might be one of the better things. Or maybe the barding so you can become a real tank. So that was the last faction actually. So we come on to this. Well, those were all the classes and all the factions in the game as it currently is. I want to say again, work in progress. Maybe some things will be changed and maybe some things will be added. I really like the Fians. Batania is a really cool class in my opinion. The Empire has the same thing as the whole of Calradia. Everyone looks like a mix between Normans, Nordic forces, and Romans, late Romans or something. Vlandia looks more like what was their name? Rodok? No, Nordic? Swedian forces would be later on. I haven't really kept up with everything regarding this game, so I don't know all the stuff yet, but they look like it, so I suppose that that has to do with them. But yeah, Batania looks really cool. Everyone, what did you think about all these units? Do you have any questions? Please say so, and I will see you next time. Dragon.